This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
We are here live with you yet again. This is Meltdown Live. Thank you so much for making us a part of your daily routine. Live 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern every single day, whether you catch us live or on replay. We appreciate you making the time for us, here to talk all things pop culture, lifestyle, entertainment. I am Tim Melton. Joining me here in the Culver studio is the one, the only Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, we've made it here towards the end of what has been an epic week of Superman coverage, an epic week of new releases in the theater, and a lot of Christmas-style countdowns. And I've looked forward to each and every episode this week, and I've really appreciated all the new eyeballs here on the channel and all the new subscribers. And I think it's always good to take some time to thank all the people that are jumping on board here to Meltdown 2.0.
Absolutely. I can't thank the chat enough. Y'all have been super active during the show. I love to see the interaction. And we've gotten some new people in the chat as well this week because of all the Superman coverage. Love to see that. Hope you guys stick around with us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Set your alerts. We are always pumping out content, and you don't want to miss any of it.
Yes, we have a ton of other content that is not Superman related up on the channel as well, including a Terrifier 3 spoiler review with Art the Clown and his third installment officially in the Terrifier franchise, but he's been around here for a hot minute. We also have EG's holiday gift giving guide that if you didn't catch on the live show, and if you are still out there fighting the hordes of people trying to get those last minute gifts, EG may be able to help find that perfect style of gift for the person in your life as she tackles almost every member of the family that you could possibly have left to shop for. So a lot of fun there with EG, and obviously all of our out of the theater reactions. Tyler, you had a very dramatic one last night with Sonic. I had one with Mufasa. We'll talk a little bit more about both of those films here coming up shortly. I do want to introduce our big guest for the day. That is Mr. Jeff Roberts here, with us, always making time for us. Jeff, we are going to be spending a lot of time together.
Yep.
Not only today, but tomorrow as well, as we have a little holiday get-together happening. For those that don't know, Jeff is my brother-in-law, and we share a lot of excitement in all things sort of nerdy, pop culture, geeky, and you love Ace Ventura very much. I like to bring that up.
Yeah.
Goofy comedies for you.
Goofy comedy all the way.
They hit the spot. And were you a fan of the Jim Carrey Grinch in the year 2000 when it came out, or was it?
I liked it pretty good. I still like the older, more crazy stuff that he did before, but I like that version of the Grinch too.
I really like the animated Grinch.
I do too.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, well, actually, I was talking about the one from the 70s with Chuck Jones and the guys that did Looney Tunes.
Tis the season.
But I like them all.
For all things Grinch, and those things get so many eyeballs, the entire Grinch library, that they're trying to figure out how to get even more Grinch properties out there, and I don't know which direction they're going to go. Jim Carrey's teased a possible return as the title character if he can somehow not have to sit through all that makeup, but I just don't know if it's going to hit the same if it's all computer generated for sure. There's a lot of headlines to get to today. We'll obviously have Jeff's reaction to Superman coming up here in just a few moments after that teaser trailer dropped yesterday. But I want to start with this. We've learned this week that David Fincher's The Social Network, the 1974 horror classic The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey's Dirty Dancing have all been selected for preservation by the National Film Registry. Jeff, if you had to pick one of those movies that you like the most, The Social Network, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Dirty Dancing, I can't think of three more different movies.
Me either.
Which one of those are you popping in if we're doing a pick your picture or something like that?
I'd probably go see Dirty Dancing. I think the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is pretty cool, groundbreaking, but if I'm going to go watch one, it'd probably be Dirty Dancing. It's more comfort food type movies like I like.
Tyler, I think I know which one of these you're answering.
What do you think I'm going with?
I think you are going with The Social Network.
You're absolutely right. That is the movie I would go with.
You're a big Jesse Eisenberg fan.
Yep, big Jesse Eisenberg fan, big David Fincher fan, Andrew Garfield. It's a great movie.
It is a good movie. I didn't mention it, but I like that movie as well.
Also way ahead of its time. Like it's amazing how thoughtful of a movie that was in the moment of social media exploding and how it was able to tell a story about this is the most drastic change in human communication ever, while we were also going through the most
Yeah.
drastic change in human communication ever. It is really aged well. And
What year did that come out?
2010.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was 2010. Make sure I'm right on that.
It was between '08 and 2010.
Gosh, I think it was 2010. I said that so confidently.
2010.
Okay, gosh. Whew. I said that so confidently, I was nervous because I'm like, I didn't know for sure. But The Social Network has aged well. They've talked about a sequel to that here for a while. Speaking of Jesse Eisenberg, Tyler, a big Jesse Eisenberg fan. He's come out and talked about his run as Lex Luthor. And this one is this is a big L. He's saying, quote, I've never said this before and it's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I genuinely think it actually hurt my career in a real way because I was poorly received in something so public. I've been in poorly received things that just don't see the light of day, and for the most part, no one knows. But this was so public, and I don't read notices or reviews or movie press or anything, so I was unaware of how poorly it was received. Why did the Jesse Eisenberg performance and casting as Lex Luthor, in your opinion, Tyler, receives so much backlash?
Because the take in that universe was almost like a Mark Zuckerberg type tech billionaire. And traditionally in the comics, Lex is kind of a strong figure. His voice carries weight, and that's a bit different from the typical Jesse Eisenberg cadence he
yeah.
delivers his lines in.
Maybe he wasn't unhinged enough.
He was pretty, it felt like, neurotic
Yeah,
Mhm.
instead
yeah.
of
That's his strength, I think. Yeah,
definitely. It felt like not only a typecast, but it did feel like a little bit of a miscast. But that's kind of what they were going for. They were kind of going for that crypto sort of bro mindset. And it just, once again, great actors a part of that DC EU universe, and even some great performance work, but just such a weak frame for all of those actors and to play in that sandbox. And Jesse Eisenberg says he was kind of caught up in that whole thing. Okay, I'm going to pitch you a movie that I don't know, maybe you've read the trades today and you've heard about this. This really excites me, and I want to know if I'm like geeking out too much or if you're like, this could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You said you like sort of goofy stuff. Here we go.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd and Jack Black have teamed up.
Okay.
They're going to be releasing an Anaconda movie Christmas Day 2025. So
Okay.
basically 1 year from now,
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about an Anaconda reimagining, which I don't know if you ever saw the original
Yeah, I
Anaconda.
saw it.
Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson in that. I believe Owen Wilson's in that.
And is Ice Cube in that?
I
Or
think so,
think
yeah.
so.
Yeah. Like that movie is not good,
Yeah,
but it's
kind of like Snakes on a Plane. It's so bad it's good.
right. Well, also has to do with the snake
Right.
there being a part of it as well. Will you potentially see Paul Rudd and Jack Black teaming up with this Anaconda
Yeah,
movie?
I'd probably check it out. I mean, I think the decider for me is, are we going to get this nice goody two shoes Paul Rudd, or are we going to get sour Paul Rudd like I like from the older movies?
Yeah, so you like the Paul Rudd from sort of like the Clueless era, sort of the
Knocked Up,
Knocked
Distant
Up,
40,
Business 40.
Role Models. I loved him in Role Models. I thought his character was awesome in Role Models.
You like him when he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, like just down on himself and a jerk. Yeah, snarky. I like snarky Paul Rudd.
And then he became America's uncle at some point.
Yeah,
It was
no,
like,
we got enough of that.
okay, gotcha. Let's bring it back a little bit.
Right.
Tyler, are you counting down the days to Anaconda about a year from now?
Not really, but I'll still see it. I imagine I'll be doing an out of the theater reaction on that day.
Promise me we'll do a trailer reaction to the first Anaconda trailer.
All right.
This may make my most anticipated of 2025 because it just on
I
paper
mean, you're
sounds-
selling it pretty good.
it sounds pretty fun to me. But I don't know if anyone's ever like really had the original Anaconda close to their heart.
Yeah.
So Disney's Mufasa the Lion King is out. I saw it last night. Tyler saw it last night. It holds a 55% currently on Rotten Tomatoes, and that sounds about right. I
Yeah.
mean, it is the most sort
Okay,
of
movie.
it is technically fine, but I felt just completely, I don't know, neutral to the experience. It's like, why does this exist? Why
Yeah.
do we need this?
I didn't find myself emotionally invested in any of the characters, and I was just kind of Just watching it. It was
It,
fine. I would have rather watched Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, or The Lion King 1.5.
you do champion that 1.5 movie a lot.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
My choir teacher would always, when the substitute would come in, she'd always say, please play Lion King 2. And so we'd always watch Lion King 2 in there. I don't know what it was about like teachers. They always had the straight to video sequels of these Disney movies ready to go at any point compared to just the originals that everybody knows and love. I guess they're like, well, the kids don't really watch these, so
Yeah.
they'll be more engaged if we're not putting on the good ones. But anyway,
Gonna put on Aladdin 2, The Return of Jafar.
there you go.
It's a deep cut.
Bluey. I don't know if you guys have sampled Bluey at all, but
I've heard the name. That's all I know about it.
Bluey is headed to the big screen. A feature film based on the hit animated children's series is set for a theatrical release in 2027 from BBC Studios and Walt Disney Studios. This is going to print money.
Oh, yes.
This is going to print
Yes,
money
this is gonna be a billion-dollar movie.
potentially. And I know people will be like, "Well, I mean, really? I don't watch Bluey." I'm telling you, there are families that will flock to this Bluey movie, and I hope they call it that, a Bluey movie.
Yeah, and there's adult Bluey fans too.
Oh yeah. No. Um,
And then it'll go off when it hits streaming because people like to play Bluey for their dogs when they leave the house.
yeah. Bluey is just there's a I my wife and child love Bluey. I don't like Bluey. I don't like Bluey being on the TV. I don't like hearing the voices. I don't like the animation. I don't like anything about Bluey, but I promise you I'll be seated there with the
Okay.
popcorn and the kids combo and the probably the souvenir popcorn bucket or whatever, having to watch
Yeah.
Bluey the movie. So
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do as a dad.
it's tough. It's tough.
They'll probably make multiple popcorn buckets so you can have like Bluey and was it Bingo, and Bandit?
Yeah. All those characters.
Yep.
I can't.
Collect the whole set.
Maybe I can sneak off to Anaconda. Production is wrapped on the 5th and final season of Stranger Things. So production has officially wrapped as of the time of this recording. The
So-
kids are all drawing Social Security now.
Yeah, I was about to say the kids can't age anymore before
Yeah.
it comes out.
There you go.
They're-
A release date for the finale has not been revealed yet, but Netflix has confirmed the show will be back in 2025. So if you are just eagerly awaiting the closure of Stranger Things, that's happening next year. I've never gotten into Stranger Things, Jeff. Did you guys over at your residence ever go through sort of
Yeah.
Stranger Things?
Kids all into it. They'll be right out there waiting for it. I'll probably watch it, but I mean, it's just been dragged out so long that I don't have a lot of excitement for it. I'm interested, but I'm not that excited.
It'll do numbers, it being there on Netflix. People don't have to go an extra mile with the barrier to content,
Right.
and they don't have to plan anything. They just have to
Yeah.
hit play, and that's going to end up what's happening there. The series finale of Yellowstone drew 11.4 million viewers last Sunday night, which makes it the most watched episode in series history. I've watched an episode and a half of Yellowstone, I believe. I didn't get into it. I didn't know. You guys
Yeah.
ever get into Yellowstone? Anything?
Josie is the only one that watches it, I think.
Okay.
I mean, in our house, we probably got at least one fan for just about anything. We don't have any Bluey fans. I guess they're all too old for that, but
Well, you say that, but by the time the Bluey movie comes out, you're going to have a couple in there somewhere. Civil War director Alex Garland co-directs A24's Warfare with Iraq war veteran Ray Mendoza, Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton, Kit Connor, and more star. The film opens in theaters in 2025. I saw the trailer for this. It is panic-inducing. It is very intense, very grounded. You're right there in sort of uh, the heat of things there in the Iraq war, and it is intense. So if the movie can hold that same level of intensity the entire time as the trailer does, buckle up. That is going to be a very, very tense showing. Lisa Kudrow has come out. She's not a fan of the movie Here, which is a movie you saw earlier this year.
Oh yeah, it's so boring.
This
Just
is
nothing happens.
this is
Nothing
the
happens.
Tom Hanks movie, and I'm trying to remember who also co-stars in that.
Robin Wright.
Robin Wright, yes. And Lisa Kudrow is upset about the movie using its de-aging technology of Tom Hanks and Robin Wright to appear decades younger, saying, quote, "This is an endorsement for AI. Forget actors. What about up and coming actors? They'll just be licensing and recycling if this kind of thing is allowed to continue. Did you get the icky sense that technology was being used to destroy art in this film while you were watching it? Or does
Um,
Lisa Kudrow sound like a crazy person in your opinion?
I mean, she's not wrong, but I don't think it really enhanced the movie. It just made it look odd. Tom Hanks looks so odd because he's moving like the age he is while looking like a 20-year-old. It doesn't really work.
And we know what young Tom Hanks looks like. We've
Yeah.
all kind of
Yes.
seen that version. So
It's not this.
we're only comparing it with reality of what we've seen, which is a gamble, right? If you take an older actor that nobody knows and you do age them, it's like, oh, okay, that looks like it could be
Yeah.
pretty good. But you take an actor as well known as Tom
Yeah.
Hanks and you de-age him, and you're like, oh, this doesn't look like him from Big.
And then on top of that, you put him in a movie where just nothing happens.
Yeah,
Just
well,
Yeah.
is
That
my
that
gosh, what a boring movie.
it's a single shot the entire time, right?
Uh, it might be. I don't know. It cuts back and forth between Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's relationship and their kids and family and the people who lived in that house way before them and way before that and when the land was settled and
But it's like a point of view thing where you're
yeah,
basically stuck in that one shot, right? That
yeah,
same frame.
kind of, yeah, I
Tyler's like,
guess.
I don't want to talk about this
I
Yeah.
thing.
it's not worth
I
talking
mean,
Okay.
about. It was oh my gosh.
it
What
sounds like that just solidified her position. Then she picked a good movie, I guess,
I guess so.
because it didn't. The movie never made it to my radar, and you guys don't have anything good to say about it. So maybe.
Well, let me give you a movie that Tyler champions. Red One, the Christmas flick starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Chris Evans. It attracted 50 million worldwide viewers in its opening weekend on Prime Video.
Cap. I don't buy it. None of these streaming sites actually show their stats. I don't believe anything they put out.
That's what they're promoting. And
I'm sure they're promoting that.
sure, I'm not, this isn't an argument, Tyler. I just am letting you know that they're very proud that they say that it attracted 50 million worldwide viewers. Now, these are people that obviously said no to it when it was out in theaters. They didn't flock out to see it. But once again, you limit that barrier to entry where people can
Yeah.
be scrolling around and they say, oh, okay, this looks mindless. And they hit play.
Here's some background
Well,
noise.
if
Yeah.
that's what they were looking for, they got it.
Yeah.
It is most definitely
I,
mindless.
I was kind of looking forward to it from the trailer, but from what you guys said about it, I didn't check it out. I did see Dear Santa though, and I don't recommend it.
See, for those that don't know why Tyler does what he does as a mission going to the movie theater, it's for people like
Yeah,
Jeff.
huge time saver for me. Tyler.
You are saving hours of Jeff's life because you are going out and experiencing all this slop. So
Oh,
If only you could have seen Dear Santa before I did. You can feel like that's more to.
what, sell me on Dear Santa. I haven't heard
That's
of that one.
Jack Black is well, I won't spoil the whole thing. He's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
the
Yeah.
it's
the
in the
letter.
marketing material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Satan
Yeah.
Yeah,
because the kid misspells the letter.
right. And it's. I mean, it's a little funny here and there, but overall, it's not worth your time. And the end gets a little weird too. So.
You know, you guys are really selling this Paul Rudd, Jack Black Anaconda. And I mean, that's really what this whole thing's about. I want to know what you think about this one, Jeff. This
All
one's
right.
more for you. Jamie Lee Curtis is in early talks to play the lead in a Murder She Wrote
Yeah,
film
I saw that.
adaptation, taking on the role made iconic by Angela Lansbury.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the original.
I feel like this is one you'd get geeked up to go see
Yeah,
opening weekend.
I think it's got potential. Yeah, but they could mess it up. You know.
I saw Halloween Ends, which is Jamie Lee Curtis at a typewriter or a computer or wherever.
Yeah.
I use typewriter because I've got Murder She Wrote in my head, but she basically plays that character in Halloween Ends, and Halloween Ends is one of the the movies that hurt me the most.
Halloween Kills is the one where she's in the hospital most of the time, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
and I'll take that version over Lori. Just
That's what. Yeah. If those movies hadn't came out or the last two in that trilogy, I would be more excited of the potential of the Murder She Wrote reboot. But considering that, it's like it could go either way.
we'll see. Jamie Lee
Yeah.
Curtis also in the Freaky Friday 2
Yeah.
sequel to her 2003 movie
Yeah.
she had with Lindsay Lohan.
I like
It's
that
coming
movie.
out.
So that could be good. It's got a 50-50 shot.
We'll see.
When's it coming out?
I'm gonna say 2025.
Yeah.
It should be shot by now, and we shall see how that turns out. But I'm gonna say 2025 for that movie. The question is, will it go straight to streaming or will it be theatrically released?
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be
who knows?
theatrically released, but it sounds like a straight to streaming movie potentially.
Don't they all?
Okay, Tyler, I've put you through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
This one's for you. Sonic 3 earned a franchise best $6.5 million in Thursday box office previews. Tyler, you were a part of that haul.
Yes, I was.
The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie made $3 million. 2022 Sonic 2 brought in 6.25 million. So this is the franchise best for Thursday previews. Talk to me about the hype behind Sonic 3, why it's there, and how your fan event went.
So it is based off of Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. They take a lot of the story beats from those two games to craft Sonic the Hedgehog 3 the movie. And those are fan favorite games and they really just executed it perfectly. The voice acting was absolutely perfect. It's those characters, you believe it 100%. And they just nailed the emotional hook of the movie, which is the character arc of Shadow and his relationship with Maria and just everything that went wrong during Project Shadow and why he is the way he is. And they nail it. They nailed it. There were people crying in the theater. There were people cheering extremely loudly when Sonic and Shadow fought towards the end of the movie, and it put the on your left from Avengers to shame. This was the most crowd interaction I've ever seen in a movie. It is a true crowd pleaser, fan pleaser. If you are a fan of Sonic, you're missing out if you don't go see this.
Okay, well, I think that the diehard fans of Sonic are going to no doubt be there. Does it also work, in your opinion, as a family film that you can kind of rope in the non-hardcore fans and really get some enjoyment out of it? Is Jim Carrey wacky enough in this for Jeff to enjoy?
This is the most Jim Carrey you've ever seen Jim Carrey in the past 20 years.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He plays both Dr. Ivo Robotnik, aka Eggman, and the grandfather Gerald Robotnik. Plays both characters at the same time and is I'm not sure which one's wackier because I feel like he just tries to just out wacky himself in every scene. It's absolutely insane. If you like that, then you'll love this movie. And if you're not into that kind of family comedy humor that's more geared towards kids, I'd still think the movie works because the everything else around that is executed so well. But you got to know going in that it is a family movie. It's gonna be like fart jokes
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
Okay, so basically like the latest Despicable Me.
Yes, there's a lot of
I enjoyed that.
Despicable Me humor, but also a lot of really good action scenes and top-notch voice acting.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, well, it sounds like
Yeah, you sold me.
Tyler's expectations not only sold Jeff, but lived up to the hype for him. And that's great to hear because I know how much you were looking forward to this, very genuinely looking forward to this. And you're never going to get another experience like what you got that first time around where you had such an immersive crowd, which is kind of why we go to the theater, right?
Yeah.
To be a part of those sort of concert type feels. And you only really get that in those first early screenings. So good stuff. All right, it's time to talk about the big one.
All right.
James Gunn's Superman debuted not only its first motion poster this week, but also its first teaser trailer this week, which also includes a lot of that famous John Williams theme reimagined
Yeah.
here for 2024 into 2025 when the movie comes out. Jeff, we've been gushing about the marketing campaign thus far for Superman all week long.
Yeah.
I think they've gotten so many things right. And there is this energy, this groundswell of hope and support for this so early on. We still have another 6, 7, 8 months before this thing comes out. I think that right now, they've done a great job of getting Superman to be as culturally relevant as they possibly can after
Yep.
he's been kind of dormant as a character for a minute. What was your take on the trailer
Oh,
itself?
it totally worked for me. I mean, I'm completely bought in. It was colorful. It was positive. It was I don't know, like something to believe in.
It,
Yeah,
you know, that could sound fake. Those
yeah,
words
but it's
could sound
not.
fake.
I mean, I just think all the flawed, dark superhero movies. I just think they're kind of played out. Like they're good, but you can only do something for so long. And I think this movie looks like maybe it's going to kind of go back to the roots, like original Superman, like some positivity.
Let's talk about DC right now, Tyler, because we just praised The Penguin as being a perfect show.
We did.
And the tone of that,
Pretty dark.
Very dark.
very, very dark. One of the most extreme mainstream DC things that we've ever seen. But it was excellently crafted. This is the flip side of the coin. It feels very comic booky. It feels very
Yeah.
bright. It feels very optimistic, hopeful. And both are excellent in their first appearances here. Obviously, we saw the Penguin series. Is there any way the movie lives up to that same energy that the trailer here has given it? Because it's actually a really high bar now that they have to reach.
That is a tall order because there's just so many characters that they showed in the trailer.
Oh.
You've got this giant kaiju monster in the street, which some people have said is Doomsday. I'm not buying that. Doomsday's done one interesting thing in his entire run as a character, and that's kill Superman. They're not bringing Doomsday in now to start off the universe.
Yeah, that seems like that'd be tough.
That's not the move. We got the Guy Gardner Green Lantern. Um, I actually didn't recognize him at first because of the bold cut, and I'm more used to the Hal Jordan or John Stewart Green Lanterns. But I'm interested in seeing how he gets brought into the fold. Hawk Girl as well, Mister Terrific, and just think this will be a great movie, but it's got a lot it needs to include and execute perfectly on.
Metamorpho in there as
Metamorpho,
well,
yeah.
and going to be playing all these characters are going to be playing a larger role to establish the universe. There is something that James Gunn has come out and said, and that is that the film starts with Superman already established in his world. This is not an origin story, Jeff, so you don't have to worry about that build up again of seeing exactly how he crash lands to Earth and gets
Yeah.
adopted and go through all of that. But there will be existing relationships with both Lois Lane and Lex Luthor, saying, quote, "We just start in the middle of the action. Superman's already existing. Lois and Clark already know each other. Lex hates Superman's guts from the beginning, although they don't know each other personally." The thing that maybe, from a character perspective, excited me the most was what I saw of Lex Luthor in this, played
Yeah.
by Nicholas Hoult, where he's brandishing that sort of white and black revolver, and
Yeah.
who knows if it has kryptonite bullets associated with it, but I don't think he's going to be taking a regular gun into a fight with Superman. And just his anger. Nicholas Hoult is one of the more under the radar actors that exists right now currently. That guy brings it every time he's on screen. He was fantastic as Beast in X-Men. I don't know if how many people remember that he was a part of the X-Men franchise, but
Yeah,
he's
I liked him in First Class a
I
lot.
loved him as Beast in First Class. I really, really liked him in The Menu. I thought he was incredible in that with Ray Fiennes, and he is great in Juror Number 2. We've got our spoiler review up of that with Clint Eastwood directed movie there that's been under the radar. He's in Nosferatu, which comes out on
And I was
Christmas
about to
Day.
ask, do you think his role as Count Orlok next week raises his profile to where not quite a household name, but you know him?
Yes, adds to the resume in a distinct way. Yes, raises his profile as a draw. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, raises his profile as like a name that draws audiences. No, I think the movie's a little bit too hyper focused towards a specific audience.
Yeah, I
Nosferatu.
think Robert Eggers as a director is a much bigger draw for Nosferatu than anyone involved in it, except for maybe Willem Dafoe.
But even Eggers is not mainstream,
No,
right?
no, not at all.
He's
Not at all.
very he's targeting those sort of classic horror fans
Hmm.
while roping in hopefully some new kids that he can scare with this. But are you excited at all about Nosferatu, Jeff?
Yeah, I might even go to the theater to see it because there's not a lot of competition as far as what I want to go see. So if
Yeah,
I'm looking for a movie to watch around Christmas, I'm gonna go check it out.
I
It
do
looks different.
I do hope, Tyler, I complain all the time about the theaters being too cold at times, where like you can see your own breath because they won't run
Needs
the
to be
heat.
freezing for
I
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
hope it is. I hope I'm chilled to the bone. If they're running the heat in there, I'm going to go complain it's too hot and they need to cut it off because I want to be freezing watching that movie.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's sort of the creepiness. It's the coldness of the movie that really, for me, is promoting how scary it could possibly be. But Nicholas Hoult, his profile will be elevated after this. Back to Superman. You want to talk about two different movies, Nosferatu and
Yeah.
the Superman movie, very different. Do you like James Gunn as a director from what you've seen? Did you like the Guardians
I
movies?
did. I haven't seen the third one, but I like the first two. I heard too much about the animal torture in the third one. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch that or not. So
I'm concerned slightly about crypto
yeah,
and
maybe
Superman
he'll have more regard for that.
because of what they did to the animals
Oh,
and what they did to Rocket in
Yeah,
Guardians
yeah,
3.
well, we're not doing that to crypto.
yeah.
We're
I don't
not
think they'll
doing
do
that
that.
to crypto. Do you hear
You're
me?
right. I hope you're right.
There's no way in James Gunn's brightly colored universe they do that to a sweet little pup like Crypto in the first movie.
Well, it looks like they've already done it to the if you've seen the trailer there to the robot that is there at the Superman's beck and call there in the Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, is that what that robot is?
Yeah,
Uh,
from what I've been able to tell, that is a robot that is connected to Krypton that is like one of the last remaining connections that he has with Krypton.
Oh, that's his Alfred. That's his Jarvis.
Correct, that sort of guards the Fortress of Solitude and it, it doesn't look like he meets a great fate, this robot. So
I've
you know,
I've got it up now. I can see the walls now. That looks like the Fortress of Solitude.
yes.
You
So
can see the ice.
one thing that I have failed to mention all week, and it frustrates me every single time we get done because I just have not brought this up. One of my most anticipated for 2024 really delivered this year, and it is the Christopher Reeve documentary, Super Slash Man.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you are on a Superman kick right now, watch it. It's on Max. It's so good. It's one of the best movies of the year. It's my favorite documentary of the year. I watch a lot of documentaries. So I really, really like this telling of Christopher Reeve's story, not only as the Superman character, which they get into a lot, but also his family dynamic and after his tragic injury, what he ended up devoting his life to and how he ended up devoting his life to that. With all the criticism that he faced even after becoming injured, it's a very, very good watch. I went and saw it in the theater opening weekend. It was very limited showings, but now it's available for everybody on Max. And if you are on a Superman kick and you're looking for something that emotionally draws you in and pays off in a very real way, it'll make you even more hyped for Superman in
Yeah.
2025 watching this documentary. So check it out. I highly, highly recommend it. Superman from James Gunn. It opens in theaters on July 11th of 2025. Tyler, I've been yelling it for half a year now. Do you believe in your heart that we will get the first official Superman full-length trailer during Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah. That's when you would roll it out. You would spin that big ad buy and try and hit that general audience and get them back into the movies and into superhero movies because you're going to need $1 billion smash hit to really kickstart this new universe.
I was hesitant to say that Superman could reach $1 billion because of the state of the character. And now I'm getting caught up in the hype and I'm thinking to myself, like, this may have the legs to get there. It
Yeah.
may. It's still going to be tough because it is the first entry. And first entries typically are not the moneymakers. It's always the follow up, it's always the sequel. It's always you let this one spread like wildfire in media distribution. And then eventually the second one ends up having the real payoff. That's what we saw with Batman.
It didn't work for Sony. They released Venom 1 and never saw that money ever again.
Yeah.
Diminishing returns ever since.
Sony superhero content is why we're in the state we're in superhero cinema. I hold them personally accountable. So,
And I do too.
gosh, did you show the Superman trailer to anybody else in your household? Anybody else see
Carla,
it? And
she
what
liked it.
she liked it?
Yeah. There was a dog in it, so
Were you a fan of the crypto appearance or did
yeah. No, I thought everything they did worked. They hit the right notes.
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't really love, and this is nitpicky, but I felt like is it Charles Kent? That's his
Mhm.
dad?
No, it's
It's
Jonathan.
Jonathan Kent, yeah.
Jonathan,
So
yeah.
I didn't love that character for him. I like more like John Snyder in Smallville,
Mhm.
but that's
Yeah,
you could really tell from the little bit of the
they went with what it looks like to be a very grounded Jonathan
yeah,
Kent that I mean, like, all of the Pa Kents, they've all had movie star looks and they've
yeah,
all been like pretty debonair and they've
yeah,
all had and this is a guy that looks like he would live in
yeah.
that house.
And it might work.
And so
That was one thing I noticed. I was like, oh, I like Kent from Smallville better.
okay. Hey, let's go ahead and get to our meltdown countdown today, which tells us exactly what Jeff likes. I've tasked you with the 5 favorite Christmas time foods, and we're going to rank them from fifth to first.
Yeah.
You know how this
Yep.
works.
Yep.
First, I want to remind you that if you plan on chomping down on a bunch of Christmas time food, there's one group that you may want to have on standby, and that's my dentists over on Grants Mill Road, Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental Associates, providing you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. They are the best in town. Need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself. They're accepting new patients now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205 956 8977 or visit alabamadental.com where they look forward to seeing you. We're going to get to this meltdown countdown here momentarily, but first a chat check in with Tyler.
All right. First off, Hunter Bussey says it's time for Stranger Things to end. The kids, with air quotes, are 30 years old now. Totally agree. They just ran into production issue after production issue, some related to COVID, some related to the writer's strike. They need to wrap it up and end it now. Um, See you in Buff says time to get a Mega Man movie. That would be awesome. I'd love to see that. Carla says Dear Santa was lame. Smuff says that the penguin is tied to Batman, so it's comparatively gold. That's fair. See you in Buff says Green Lantern looks like Stewie from Mad TV. Did you guys watch Mad TV? 'Cause I didn't.
So I know exactly what
Let me pull
he's
up a picture.
talking about there. And then also in the chat, we have Diana going, Jeff, Jeff, Jeff.
That tracks.
Oh wow,
So anyway,
yeah, yeah,
good call.
that's a good comparison there. See
Yep.
you in Buff.
All right. Well, lots to be excited about, including a bunch of food that we're going to be eating over the next several days. I cannot wait. I am getting all kinds of scrumptious here. My question to you, I won't do that on camera again. My question to you, Jeff, is what do we start off the list with at number 5? And how did you approach the list?
Well, so I feel like a lot of my items here might be odd for some folks, but they're just what I like, and there usually is like a story behind every one of them. So, number 5 is just Mexican food in a Mexican restaurant because
Okay.
almost every Christmas Eve, we've got a big family, and now they're all older, and they have been older for a while. We usually all see if we can get enough of our immediate family together and go eat Mexican on Christmas Eve. So
Well,
look forward to trying to make that happen
it's
every
a heartwarming story there associated with it. Not one that I expected on the list.
you there may be more of those.
I don't know how many people would share that as their number 5,
Yeah.
but that does sound like a fun time. Are there Mexican places open on Christmas Day?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. And they some of them close early on Christmas Eve and then they open on Christmas Day. So it's a little tricky finding something open, but we've managed to do it, I think, almost every year.
Okay.
I think I see more Chinese places open on
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Definitely. A Christmas Story ends in a Chinese restaurant, so
Yeah.
that's the way that story
Yeah.
ends. Yeah.
We get more buy-in for Mexican with all of our family, so it's a crowd pleaser.
Okay. Where are we going for number 4 here?
All right, number 4 is oatmeal peanut butter fudge cookies,
Okay.
which I guess you could have those any time of the year too, but you bring out the elite version at Christmas.
What's your favorite element of those cookies?
The chocolate peanut butter. I love that. I love Reese cups. I love anything chocolate peanut butter, but I don't know, the texture of them is just great. I can eat like, a whole tub of them pretty easily, but I made them. My mom made them. My business partner and friend for like 30 something years, his mom will make a lot of times on Christmas, she'll make some and send some back with my business partner for me. So,
It is amazing how many sort of taste reminders we have around the Christmas season of either something you eat annually that it kind of sneaks up on you still that
yeah,
you kind of get back in the routine of eating, or those things that maybe you would love to have the opportunity to eat one more time, if you have somebody in your life that's passed away or you have
yeah,
that recipe that's gone into the wind. But yeah, it's all about the nostalgia of the season for sure, and it
Yeah.
sounds like that's
Yeah.
why it made the number 4 spot on your list too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 3 on this Meltdown countdown of Christmas time foods that you love.
All right, so number 3 is ambrosia, and, a lot of people either love or hate that, but, my mom made that, and, like, it was always at every Christmas get-together as a kid, like, if I went to my mom's side of the family or my dad's, somebody was making it, bringing it, and different variations of it, and I usually make my own variation these days just to, for that throwback, for the nostalgia.
What's the texture of that? What's it comparable to? Because I can't say
It's
that I
got a
know.
lot of oranges and a lot of pineapples in it, so it's fruit salad. And some people put,
Cherries in there
you
too?
can put cherries in there. I usually put the maraschino cherries in there without the stems, but some people don't. Some people put nuts in it, some people don't. A lot of folks put coconut in it, which I'm a fan of all of it, and, some people put, like, cream cheese or, Cool Whip in there to kinda give it that creamy, and I like it like that, but I like it without it too. It's completely different with or without, something creamy in it.
I hate something you just named. Oh, coconut.
Yeah.
Anything
Okay, yeah.
coconut, come on, get that
So
out
if
of
I
here.
make it without coconut, will you try it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I don't like coconut.
we'll leave that out, maybe give you
My wife loves coconut,
yeah. I
and
think she might have said she liked it. Like, I think I made it at
oh, I'm sure
Thanksgiving.
she did. If it's got coconut, she's a
Yeah,
fan, but I'm not a fan
yeah.
of that. Tyler, do you have any strong opinions on coconut as a flavoring?
I love coconut.
Huh,
What
Love
typical.
it.
about ambrosia? Have you ever had it?
I haven't had
Okay,
that.
yeah, it's kinda old school, I guess,
Yeah.
so
Okay, let's move on to number 2 on this Meltdown countdown.
alright, so that's a pineapple cream cheese ball. You might not have ever had that either. That's kind of a deep cut too, I guess, but
I've had a
Pineapple.
chocolate chip cheese ball.
yeah. Now this is like cream cheese, pineapple, pecans or walnuts or some kind of nut, and, trying to think of the seasoning that goes in it. There's some kind of seasoning that kind of, gives it a little bit of a kick, kind of a spicy to it, and then you just eat it with crackers. But I really like that. And I'd never make those except for maybe at Christmas. My aunt always made them at Christmas.
Sounds like it doesn't go together the way that it's
Yeah, I'm probably not selling it. It may be kind of like pineapple on pizza. You like either love it or hate it. I don't know.
right. So, okay. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just saying that, like, I wasn't
I'm
expecting
telling you, I figured these might be some off the wall choices, but yeah, that's
pineapple cheese. It's like,
yeah, it's
okay,
pineapple cheese. Yeah.
got it. Okay, let's go now to the big buildup of number 1. Any honorable mentions before we get to
Oh
number
yeah, I
1?
got a lot of honorable mentions. So, just like super excellent versions of those usual homemade sides, like a baked macaroni and cheese at Christmas or Thanksgiving. Like somebody puts that extra effort into it, you
Yeah.
can't beat that. And the same, I would say, for like turkey and dressing. Uh,
These are called what I like to call the hits.
yeah, green bean casserole. But like if you're making it for Christmas, or at least my opinion is, if I'm going to make it for Christmas, I'm going to go that extra mile. I'm not going to just slop it together. I'm going to give it.
Compared to Thanksgiving when you buy everything pre-made and then
Well,
you
look,
just throw it into the oven. I mean,
and I was on the
you're
show the
you're a
day
real
before.
preachy one today,
I,
Jeff.
well, I learned my lesson. I'm not going to do that again.
Oh,
I mean,
you
it was
had a
fine, but it
you had
wasn't. It didn't have that extra. It was all fine. It was like, what was the movie you were just about?
Mufasa.
Mufasa. It was a Mufasa Thanksgiving.
That may be the best line ever. You're gonna get another invite back
Yeah.
just because of that. That was fantastic. All right.
So you want some more?
I want some honorable mentions.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So all those traditionals, just like the beefed up, think the holiday versions, and then Felicia's Rotel dip. I love Rotel dip. So I get
Rotel
that.
dip is great.
I get that at Halloween usually, and that was it was year before last, I think, that she didn't make it, or no, she made it at Thanksgiving, but not at Halloween. And I was like, oh man, I really wish there was Rotel dip.
just texted me, by the way. Tell Jeff I want to try cheese ball! Exclamation point! Exclamation
Okay,
point!
yeah,
Exclamation
I can
point!
put one of those together.
Okay.
I'll even make the buffalo dip
See,
too, so you have a fallback.
I thought I at least had another 24 hours before my family ganged up on me here, and it's all happening
Nope.
live on the stream with Diana yelling, Jeff.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
let's go. I want to go ahead and get to number 1. We can't
yeah,
do
yeah.
any
No,
more
you're good.
honorable
You're
mentions.
good.
Give me number 1.
It's gonna be a surprise too. It's homemade Chex Mix. I love that stuff, and I can't get enough of it.
Okay. Is that all you have to say about your number
Well,
1?
so
I'm going to give you a
many,
chance.
many years ago, I feel like I've lived several different lifetimes, but many, many years ago, the company I worked with, sometimes their family would put out tins with this homemade Chex Mix, and I was like, man, this stuff is so much better than what's in the bag. It like in the store bought bag.
Yeah.
So, And then I didn't, it's been a while since I worked there, so didn't get it anymore. And then one day I was like, you know what, I could probably just make this. And so I started making it. And the problem is when I make it, you have to buy like 3 or 4 boxes of cereal. You got to buy a bag of pretzels, and so you make enough to like feed an army. And I will just sit there and eat it if it's at hand. So that's sometimes I don't make it at Christmas, but I do love it. But it makes so much that I tend to eat too much of it too.
Okay, well, great answers there that are very unique
Yeah,
and
I figured.
not going to be on many people's lists.
Yeah.
You left off, though, what is
Uh-huh.
my favorite Christmas treat,
Okay.
and I actually have some right now. It is
Ah,
the
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
tree
been taking
cakes
those down.
from Little Debbie, and these things are addictive and fantastic to me. I love these. I know a lot of people, they have strong opinions one way or the other about the Christmas tree cakes. I have not tried the Little Debbie Christmas tree cake ice cream,
Yeah, I've
which is
seen that.
out, but it's been promoted. But I'm like, these are fine the way
Yeah.
this is. Would you guys like one right now?
Sure.
I'm all right, thank you though.
I'm not gonna turn one down.
Okay. Will you eat it live on camera?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Tyler, here's what we're going to do. We're going to chomp down on some Christmas tree cakes, and you give us an update from the chat. Okay.
Alrighty. Hunter Iggy wants a little bit of a discussion here. He asked what our thoughts on people body shaming David Cornsweet, still an odd name, because he's not jacked like Henry Cavill. Because Zack Snyder wanted someone jacked to play Superman, and that's just not David Cornsweet. What's your guys' take on that?
Well, I give my take. Will you put the camera on Jeff? Because I want him eating a Christmas tree cake while we talk about people's body image.
Mm.
And
This is how you get the body.
We're all about body positivity here.
I'm going to say something that I don't think is very controversial. Henry Cavill Superman fans are looking to destroy this new Superman at any cost. And they will go to any length to do that. And they're pretty passionate about defending their boy. And you know what? Loyalty is not a bad thing. But I would say this was how good the trailer was yesterday. Even some of those sort of diehards came off their perch a little bit and said, okay, it's good, but, like yesterday was a breakthrough of some saying, hold the line. We've got to continue to bring down this production at any cost. While others were like, you know what? I'm glad Superman's back, and I'm dropping my sword for this. So eventually, over the course of the next few months, those Snyder Bros will be phased out. Because let's not forget, Robert Pattinson's Batman got the same sort of backlash because there were all these Batfleck fans who didn't want to see any other version of Batman succeed. And then, that same thing happened to Ben Affleck, whether they remember it or not, of him being ripped apart the minute it was announced as Batman, and then everybody jumped on board. Guess what there's going to be? A bunch of David Cornsweet fans that go, you can't possibly replicate Superman the next time we see Superman cast a decade from now or whenever it is that Cornsweet's run is over. So I chalk it up to the fandom being so protective over the character and the actor who plays them that they're willing to go at any length, even going after David Cornsweet's physique, which from the trailer I saw, there was, nothing to complain about. He looked like Superman to me.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, objectively, not as big as Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
but that's also the style Zack Snyder was going for, and this is a different take on it. I remember before the Batman release, even Warner Brothers executives were freaking out in test screenings, saying, Batman doesn't look jacked in this movie. With not one of them considering it's a year one Batman, he's younger, and also Robert Pattinson had a very healthy physique in that movie. He just wasn't all juiced up.
Yeah.
Slight thing. I think it's a year two Batman, just to be completely
That is,
transparent.
you are correct.
Just
It's
so
year two.
just so you know. The second thing is there's a shot of Pattinson in there on the floor doing detective work where he looks jacked. Movie magic, whatever it is, but he
Well,
looked
they were
like
saying he wouldn't. He didn't
right.
want to bolt.
That is correct.
Instead he just got, I don't know, more cut, more lean.
Now, I want to say it was not planned that I would be chomping down on a Christmas tree cake while we're having this discussion because I didn't know that this was where we were going. But I'm kind of happy that it turned out this way. Because
Yeah.
was it not?
It was good. It delivered.
Top 5 good?
I don't know. It's good.
Jeff hates to make people angry.
Yeah.
And can tell he's like, do I just do this to make Tim happy? No, please don't. Hold the ground. Okay.
Smuff says he loves Christmas tree cakes, but he says they've either changed or his taste has changed. He says he feels like they're just sweet with no flavor anymore. What's y'all's take on that as someone who just ate a Christmas tree cake?
I don't think they've changed. I think your taste buds probably change as you get older, and it happens.
I'm a fan.
It's good processed sugar.
I'm
I think
on
it always has been.
starting to twitch a little bit.
There wasn't a grandma making them when we were kids.
No,
They were mass produced even back then, like a Twinkie.
the past 2 days I've had surprises. Like yesterday, we gifted the poster there to Tyler, the Godzilla -1, which I can tell he genuinely is like hyped for and
Yeah,
excited for. So that's awesome.
it is awesome.
And then today I had Christmas tree cakes for us to eat. I don't think I can keep this up. I don't. I
Yeah,
mean,
it'd be hard to top yourself.
we've got a fortune cookie budget, and that's about it. But
Yeah.
we are very happy to be here with you on the Meltdown. Okay, chat check in. Tyler, what you got for us?
See you in Buff says he loves Nicholas Holt as a Tolkien. Do you know what movie that is? Because I would love to see that.
I don't remember what movie that is,
I don't know either.
but
Put it in the comments. See you in Buff. I'd love to see that.
yeah, that sounds right. I mean, I think maybe vaguely it's in the recesses of my mind, but I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, I want to get into our final topic here, and it's a doozy. These drones
Yeah.
in New Jersey. You probably know the story unless you just have not been following it at all, but people have been proclaiming to see all of these different drones flying over their homes in these towns in New Jersey, where even the mayor's coming out and recording stuff, and he's demanding answers from the federal government, wondering what the heck is going on with all of these drones. And it just appears like we're not getting any straight answers on this. And
Yeah.
it seems very purposeful we're not getting any straight answers on this.
Yeah.
There's kind of like on the internet, a drone denier sort of push to where these people are to be discredited for seeing what they're seeing. And what do you make of this story and the craziness about it? Because it has popped up at a very unique time where we've seen the footage, we've
Yeah.
seen the photos, we see this weird stuff, we see panicked people. What's your take on the drone saga right now, Jeff?
I think it's some form of the military, some arm of the military just doing exercises, and that's why the government's not at the top's not losing their minds over it. You've just got folks that it's above their pay grade that they're freaking out about it.
There's layers to that, right?
Yeah.
Why do you have to put a drone in grandma's backyard and scare her to complete this exercise without being able to say there's nothing to fear here?
Yeah.
There's I mean,
I'm guessing they were probably doing something, and then as a side effect, these folks got scared, but they're not really ready to talk about it.
but
But
it's still continuing on. Like that's the thing is like
yeah, I mean that is kind of odd too. I mean, and I'm not saying 100% that's what's going on. I think it's not that big a deal until proven otherwise, but that's kind of usual,
if you had a drone, like you are a drone.
and so these are drones big enough that somebody could be inside them too. Like you could ride around. This is not a drone like we fly around.
Right, because you are a drone enthusiast.
Yeah.
You have crafted drones
Yeah.
before, and we've taken them out and
Yeah.
flown them, and so you have an interest
Yeah.
in sort of piecing together these things. But we're talking about giant drones
Yeah.
that are like
Yeah. If
half
they're-
a car or something.
yeah,
To
at
that
least big enough
size.
for a person to be in. There may or may not be people in them. A lot of these drone guys on YouTube have said that they're manned, so they're not technically drones. They're just quadcopters.
Which is more concerning.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
You're very calm. You're a very calm individual, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I feel like you need to raise the
You think so? You
raise
think I
the
should be
alert
worried?
alarm a little bit more. I mean, if someone was in a drone outside your house, would you be freaked out the entire time? Or
Yeah,
would you
I
be
mean
like,
that would be a bigger deal, I guess, if it was in my own backyard.
but New Jersey,
Yeah, New Jersey. I mean, crazy stuff happens up there all the time. So
Tyler, you're a smart guy. You know a lot of strange and weird facts that surprises Ryan Brown on a daily basis.
true.
What's your take on the drone situation?
So with the government response to it being like, well, we don't know where that comes from, that leads me to believe it's either ours and we're looking for something but can't say what it
Yeah.
is, or it's it's not ours and the situation is very, very bad.
Well, I like the first option
Yeah,
better.
I think that second
I
one's a
do too.
stretch. I
Even though
mean,
it's scary, the fact that they
yeah,
could be scanning around looking for nuclear material or a lost missile or something like that, because there's been plenty of cases where nuclear warheads have fallen off of planes or accidentally been loaded onto planes. So it's not crazy to think that one might have fallen off in transport somewhere or some radioactive material from something.
Do you buy, Jeff, the thought that these may be otherworldly
not really.
designs or
I mean,
vehicles or
I'm not ruling it out 100%, but if it was like an alien threat or some sort of foreign threat, I think they would have drug out Reagan's laser or some sort of weapon and shot it down already, and we'd have seen that. That's my take.
we did let the Chinese spy balloon fly across the country before
Yeah,
we took any action on it.
but I
So
think that was probably because they were like, "Well, let's just see what this thing's doing. We know what it's doing. Let's, you know."
you just
I think our government has a pretty good handle on things. I mean, I'm not saying they got it all figured out, but when it comes to like threats and things like that, I think there's some form of the military that's gonna be like, "Hey, that's bad. Let's go shoot it down."
right. There's just too many eyeballs on this
Too
for it.
many eyeballs these days, or somebody else, some private party would go, which just sounds like what they're trying to do. But
So I'm just going to give this hypothetical that you're a drone enthusiast, as I've laid out there.
yeah,
If you were a drone enthusiast that was living in New Jersey, would you be flying a drone right now, or would you be going, you know what, maybe I'll take a couple months off?
Well, you're
I
not
mean, I don't
allowed
know.
to right now.
I might be
Right.
flying my drone up to try to see the other one and see if I can get some more information out of it.
Yeah, there was a development on this today, by the way.
Oh, okay.
The federal agencies report having received several thousand tips from public sightings of moving lights in the sky in New Jersey and along the East Coast. The Federal Aviation Administration is taking the situation seriously enough that it has banned drones from flying over critical New Jersey infrastructure along with several New York sites.
Yeah, that was something I was going to mention. Something I read this morning was talking about they were flying over some restricted airspace already, and so that led me to believe it was like, okay, if they're flying over restricted airspace and nobody's shooting them down, then they got to know about it.
Yeah. I don't know how these things have been able to stay up in the air as long as they have without something being done, other than the fact that it goes along with the theory that they're supposed to be there for some reason.
Yeah,
Question is, what is that reason?
yeah,
And since the federal government's giving no reason at all for why they're allowed to be there,
yeah,
that just seems pretty troublesome to me.
yeah. It is a little concerning.
Okay. Well, we're with you, New Jersey. Good luck with everything. But, if you have to be the test site for whatever's going on,
Yeah.
um, us down here
Sucks
in
to suck.
Alabama, I don't think Alabamians would have the same approach to these drones hovering over their
You
private
can't
property.
fly one of those over the mud puddle,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
it'll be filled with buckshot
yeah.
that is correct.
within an hour.
Those drones know to stay out of the South for sure. All right, that is going to do it for us here on Meltdown Live. Jeff, always fun to have you
Yeah.
here on the
Thanks
program.
for having me.
Always feels like it flies by.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like 5 minutes, but it really wasn't. We were here for the hour. We appreciate all of you who are giving us that thumbs up there in the chat, along with subscribing here to the Meltdown. We're live with you daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Want to remind you about our title sponsor. That is MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. If you're looking to make some extra scratch there with all these football games coming up, who knows? Maybe you want to get in on some of the basketball action, hockey going on strong right now. You can visit mybookie.ag where you can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Make sure you use that promo code next round for that first time deposit bonus. They also have that interactive casino there at MyBookie at mybookie.ag. All right, it's been a really fun week here on the Meltdown. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next big story is in the world of entertainment. Superman has dominated the space here all week long. They've done a great job rolling out the marketing campaign for this James Gunn film in July of 2025. We have our trailer reaction up for you. We have all types of discussion every single day this week, talking about the layers of this rollout. And we really appreciate all the guests who have made time for us this week, including Brian Pavlik, E.G., Hunter Bussey, Jeff Roberts, and the entire cast and crew. Tyler, it was a big week. It was a fun one. And we've got even more content headed out, as we will have a Mufasa versus Sonic discussion coming out here very shortly on the channel. And we're looking forward to that too.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fun discussion. So be on the lookout for that. And then next week, will you have even more content just before the break so that way you won't miss anything.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. Once again, make sure you like and subscribe, and we appreciate you being a proud Meltdonian.